Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld with Kimberly Guilfoyle, Juan Williams, Eric Bowling, and a Peapod is her canoe, Dana Perino, the 5. This next debate, hosted by Chris Wallace, may be the most important debate since the last one. The topics are in order: debt and entitlements, immigration, economy, Supreme Court, foreign hotspots, sounds like Jeopardy, fitness to be president, and, of course, man buns. Are they worthy of the death penalty? I say yes. Anyway, let's pretend that these topics actually matter. The U.S. just launched cruise missiles at radar sites in Yemen after attacks on a U.S. Navy destroyer. A Syrian migrant who planned to bomb a Berlin airport just killed himself in prison. Terror has now married itself to technology, as ISIS just used an armed drone that killed 2 Kurds and wounded French troops. And while Syria implodes, Russia mocks American retaliation over hacks. This truly is a chaotic, unpredictable, and grim time to be alive. It's like the 1300s with less plague. America needs a strong, capable leader. Good luck. And so on Wednesday, we shall sit and listen to 2 choices out of 324 million who must convince us they're the one to steer this country through a stormy, swirling muck. At this point, my only advice is drink. Drink a lot. This election season is getting uglier than a bag of hairless cats and messier than a porta-john in a tornado. But you can also ask yourself this one question: which issue matters most to you, and does it matter enough for you to accept every other horrible flaw that a candidate has? I wish I had better advice, but I also wish we had better candidates. All right, DP. Here, we went through some of the topics. You got debt, you got immigration, you got economy, you got Supreme Court, you got foreign hotspots, fitness to be president. Is there anything there missing that you wish was in there?
I do feel like that's pretty comprehensive and it basically covers a lot. Can I mention 3 things?
No.
Okay, I will. I think that for millennials out there and their parents, and also millennials who are now becoming parents, this issue of the cost of college, and the question that the Democrats really had during their primary season about whether there should be free college or options or things like that. I think that is worth talking about, because I think it's on a lot of people's minds, a lot of citizens' minds.
That's one.
That's one. Second one is how either one of them, as the president, would help set up the country to deal with the coming technological revolution that is going to change the workforce in America dramatically.
This is
really important for the next 3 years. And then the other thing is, I would ask this question: what as president would keep them up at night? And which I think helps get to understanding what are their worries.
Trump
doesn't have that problem.
There you go.
Read it.
Right there.
Cialis.
Thinking you forgot to tweet something. Oh. Ooh.
What? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my poor ears. Yes. You're about to elect a president who said far worse than that. Eric, you have
I want to know, are
you
going to talk about the Fly or Ken Bone? You kidding? I think okay, so on the economy, I see the debt and the entitlements, but on the economy, so over the last 8 years, President Obama, he can absolutely say that under his presidency, stock prices have gone up. But mainstream America hasn't felt that. That's Wall Street. That's done very well for Wall Street in the upper 1 or 5% of the people in America. How do you help mainstream America? And that means wages. Wages have been stagnant for 7 or 8 years. They haven't gone up. They blipped up for the first time in 7 years this quarter. And what do you do to help that? Prices are going up. But America gets squeezed because prices haven't stopped going up, but their wages have been stagnant. So how are you going to turn that around and give us your plan, both candidates? Also on security, homegrown terror, guys. Yeah, hotspots, I agree. Syria, what are you going to do if Russia gets more involved, or if the UK shoots down a Russian plane? I get that. But what are you going to do about homegrown terror? And I'd specifically go to this whole NSA argument that's been heated. It's been heated over the last few years. Where are you on that? Is data mining okay? And I kind of would like to hear their answer.
Actually, they might agree on that.
Maybe, perhaps.
What do you think, Juan? What's missing from that list? What would you add?
Well, I think that social issues are missing. So if you were to talk about some of the big wedge issues, and this is a Fox debate, but if you were to talk about, let's say, abortion, if you were to talk about gay rights and gay marriage, and you may get some of that, Greg, on the Supreme Court front.
Right.
But the question is, and I think this is a big split within the party, how much do you emphasize those social issues going forward? The problem, of course, is Donald Trump is not really a conservative. He's not really like a, a traditional Republican candidate. But nonetheless, I'd be interested. I think America would be interested in really going over that territory. But I'm struck by the idea that debt and entitlements, where we get started. And I think that for Trump and Clinton, they do have such different ideas about tax policy. I think it's the one area where we have seen a clear divide. And finally, I would say, you know what? Remember the wisdom that debates don't matter that so much? They have mattered in this election cycle.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Especially if they do touch on man buns, Kimberly. I think we both share.
He doesn't touch man buns.
No, you wouldn't go.
I have an aversion.
You've never dated a man with a man bun.
Absolutely not.
Thank God.
I'm not
for
confused that way.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I think.
Yeah.
Debt and entitlements, I want to hear about that because I think they can really make some strong arguments. If you're for Hillary Clinton, you're going to like what she has to say. She wants to spend more money that we don't have. Trump says he wants to throttle it back. So you can make a case and distinguish yourself there on that opportunity. Foreign hotspots a little further down on the list. I think it's very important. I know it sounds like vacation, like go to Sandals. Foreign hotspots. So yeah, let's talk about national security, foreign policy. Let's talk about what's going on right now with Russia. What decisions would they make? What we're seeing happening in Yemen. I think that's a strong area because they have some differences there, although there are many that say that they believe Hillary Clinton will be much more, hawkish, that that's her truest self once she were to get in to be president despite pressures from the left. So I'm fascinated to see how they distinguish themselves. Here's, I think, the lead, though, if you're Trump, to try to get the chatter away from everything else that he's calling distractions in the campaign. Talk about the Supreme Court, because that's the one thing that he actually is attractive to the conservatives, because they would rather have him stick to the list that he proffered rather than go with Hillary Clinton and who she might put in. And, we were talking earlier, we thought, perhaps that one of the first moves she might make.
Dana?
Another one.
Well, yes. I was going to ask you another question of whether the debate will actually stick to these issues, but I'll go ahead.
It probably will not stick to these issues. That's true. Partly because there's so much news that is happening even between our show and Megyn Kelly's show last night. That was 4 hours. There were 3 news stories that broke in between those 4 hours. So much is happening. So this is only Thursday. This debate is 6 days away. I think a lot could happen. So who knows at this point next week what they'll maybe. Chris Wallace will stick to the issues, but he'll also cover whatever sort of breaking news there is. I also feel like on early education, we've not heard enough from either one of them on that. And school choice is an issue where Donald Trump certainly stands apart from Hillary Clinton. And I think the nation's ready to hear a little bit more about that. So that might be something that even if Chris Wallace doesn't bring it up, if I were Donald Trump, I would try to.
Work it in.
You know what would be fun, too, though?
What?
Trade. Both of them have moved their position on trade a couple of times. Have them go back and forth. Let them iron out exactly where they are.
I'm not even sure where she is.
Well, she's been both. She's been
Evolving.
a free trader and she's been a NAFTA advocate, and then she's back to free trade. Now we found out in the emails she's been NAFTA straight through and other trade agreements straight through. But Donald Trump has also had some fairly difficult to defend positions on trade. If you're a true free trader, you don't want to offer, you don't want to tax cars that come in, goods that come in, because that's not true free trade. That's a punitive trade. So I think it'd be very interesting.
Well, he's not a free trader.
Well, he's against trade agreements.
Oh, that's what he says now. But what's the big news here on this front, by the way?
Wait, is Hillary? Can we just be honest? Neither one of them have been consistent.
Yeah, I didn't say that. In fact, she's flip-flopped on the TPP, where it's the gold standard. But what I was saying to you was I think that the big news here is that in Ohio, the Clinton people are pushing the idea that Trump bought steel from China, at the same time that steel mills are closing. And I think for a lot of people, the blue-collar union-type people who thought, oh, here's Trump standing up for the guy who's been losing jobs to global trade. Here's Trump, in fact, revealed as someone who's been taking advantage.
But you could argue that he saw a good deal. It was a steal on steel.
Oh, that's very nice. A lot of, you do realize that a lot of the Trump buildings, he doesn't actually build himself. Yeah. There are builders that build, and those are going to be the people who are buying the steel from elsewhere. And he'll brand the building, and he'll sell the brand to the builder to put the Trump there, or a golf course and whatnot. So he may not want to highlight that, but certainly he's not. I would say that he's not the guy going out there cutting deals with Japanese steelmakers.
I think
to build the girders.
But I understand your point. But I think he'd made that deal.
Maybe he was.
That's why they're picking on him about it. But this is the fact is I think everybody's looking forward to this debate. I've heard some people speculate as to whether or not there will be a debate. You know anybody like that, Gregory?
Well, I was looking around on Twitter and I saw I think even Jennifer Rubin, Washington Post, said like she said she was betting that he wasn't going to show. There were some other people on.
I heard it in the makeup room.
Yes, that,
take it to the bank.
Some little loudmouth punk in there.
No, you're not the only one. I think Cobra King said, why allow Trump the opportunity? Why is Clinton
he's saying that Clinton shouldn't show up?
No, that Clinton doesn't need to have another debate. She's doing fine.
I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to be. What's it going to be?
Chris
It's
Wallace
going to be a
will
mess.
have his day.
But Chris Wallace will control it, but it'll get crazy, won't it? It'll be wild.
Yep.
And it's in Vegas.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's in Vegas.
This is going to be the best debate. I have absolutely no doubt about it.
I think it's going to be not only the greatest debate ever, but the greatest debate that will ever be.
I like
so
the
not
other
just the
rumor.
past, but it will all. It'll
everything after this.
Everything after this. Yeah, everything after this.
You sound like Rudy Giuliani.
And it's because of Chris Wallace and Fox.
Yeah,
well,
and it will only be on Fox.
It will only be on Fox.
If you've been on his show and been questioned by him, then you know.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
He ain't
That's me very personal things.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should move on. We've had
that's a wrap.